This video will go over sensitive subjects in regards to mental health. The expressions here made are solely my experience. This does not constitute as therapy and does not substitute professional help. If you or anyone you know are struggling with mental health, please take the first step and seek or offer help. A visit, a hug, and a phone call go a long way. Stay safe, stay true to yourself, and stay healthy. So what I'd like to talk about today is to answer to the question, how come if I am a trauma specialized holistic care provider, how come did I manage to get so low in my mental health in regards to depression, PTSD, and all this mental health and trauma related subjects? And it's very simple. It does not equate that the techniques that I utilize or that I have utilized or that I provide in my business are not functional. They work just fine. They actually help me heal, not just deal with, but heal certain traumas that I've had in my life. However, unbeknownst to me, there was a lot of underlying trauma from childhood, and I was aware of some of the childhood trauma. What I was not aware of was how deep that trauma ran, and I wasn't necessarily aware of all the different types of trauma that I had in my psyche in regards to my development years, my teenagehood years, and even some adulthood years. So all this stuff that was sitting there underlying, it was like, like a cooking pot. It was a pressure pot that was just cooking and cooking and cooking. And although I had a minor sense of it because I could feel how I was becoming less and less and less tolerant of things that normally I would not budge with, I was truly unaware of the type of trauma that was underlying and, where it came from, when did it started, and all that stuff. So I've spent my entire life dedicating my mind and my time and myself to the better understanding of the human mind, because from very early on, I knew that I was kind of like a troubled child, in the sense of I knew I had a lot of experiences, unfortunate experiences that I had as a child. So I knew I had to deal with that. And I, at the time, nobody knew about the things that were happening or had happened. And there was no way that anybody could help me. So I kind of took it upon myself at that early age to learn how to cope and navigate with the feelings and the thoughts that would arise due to those events that unfolded. So I've dedicated my entire life to that auto analysis of myself, my mind, how people process things, how people react when they have certain things in their mind. So I have a generally good understanding of the mind and people. No, I am not a psychologist. Neither do I pretend to be one. Neither do I portray myself out there as one. But I do have deep knowledge of these things, and more so deep knowledge of alternative ways to cope with these things. Because mind you, like I said, I didn't have the resources. Nobody knew these things that I went. Nobody could help me because they just simply didn't know. So I learned a lot of alternate ways to deal with things, to navigate through hard processes and stuff like that. And I ran into some very extremely helpful and useful techniques that I will be sharing with you guys. And these things help, but they're more of a coping thing more than anything. Some of them can heal past traumas, but a lot of the tools and resources that I count with are more of like a management thing. Like, this is happening right now. I apply this tool to manage this situation so that I absorb the experience in a different manner and it doesn't end up hurting me. And the ones that actually kind of go back and heal deeper trauma, some of them are actually part of the healthcare system in the US currently. Pardon me. So, but the point is, I hadn't really undergone psychological treatment for any of it, at all, until now, until the disability hit, and I was forced by the disability to face these things, to work with these things. That's when I finally start receiving the mental health care that I, quite frankly, required very long ago, yet never really had it. I had psychologists in the past, and I had psychiatrists in the past, but it was more to deal with like anxiety. There was never really a treatment for depression or like trauma related care. So as you can see, I was just working with the effects rather than the causes pretty much for my entire life. When it came to psychologists and psychiatrists, they were just dealing with the effects, not the causes. Now, through these disability experiences, we've been diving so deep into my psyche, so deep into, how I experience things, how I absorb those experiences in life, how I see life, why I see life the way that I see it, what things sort of gave me that Achilles tendon that no matter how much I tried to change my mentality, my psyche sort of automatically kind of absorbs things and process them in a certain way, and I have to work very hard at translating that experience into something else so that it doesn't add up to the trauma that I already have. Like, it's serious, deep mental work, psychological work. It's messy, it's hard, it's painful, it's not comfortable at all. It's extremely uncomfortable, yet absolutely necessary if you ever expect to lead a life that's worth living, where all these things, you're not the puppet of all these things in your head. You are kind of like your own entity, and you have sort of like the power to choose, because until we don't work with those things, we are very much a puppet. We are merely reacting to these triggers, reacting to these things that are already ingrained in our brains, and we are not really making a choice in the matter. So it is extremely important work that most people don't do. A lot of people wouldn't have the mental, emotional, physical strength to do, yet it is something I advise everyone to at least attempt to do once in their life, is to go very deep in their psyche, into everything that has formed them, and sort of see how it's affecting the actions that you take, the choices that you make, the things that you don't do, the way that you view life, the way that you think. Just really and truly deeply get to know where all this comes from and why it forms a part of my mentality and my personality and my life. Because when you are in the know, at the very least, if there's anything that you don't like or you don't quite agree with, then you have the power to work with yourself and grow that aspect of yourself and change that. But if you're not on the know, you're just gonna be a victim. And you're gonna be a victim of your mind, and you're gonna inherently be a victim of things that happen in life. And that's a horrible position to be in. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content of this video. To ensure you have access to future videos, hit the notifications button to stay tuned to further in-depth videos where I'll be breaking down things by subject to make them easier to digest. You may also follow me on Instagram and Facebook where other content will be shared. Warm hugs from my heart to yours. Have a blessed day.